Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim Nakrin. I want to let you know about some of the top stories that we're following. Here's a live look at the situation we are following here in Atlanta, and this is just near the state capitol. I want to let you know there's a gas leak right now this is a live look once again. There's a gas leak that has shut down roads near the state capitol in downtown Atlanta. So again, you're taking a live look at the scene. You can see obviously crews are at work and trying to, resolve this issue, make sure that it's safe, but roads have been shut down near the state capitol after this gas leak was reported this morning. This is according to Atlanta Fire Rescue. Piedmont Avenue is currently closed near MLK Jr. Drive as emergency officials investigate and take some air quality readings. According to officials, the rupture is at 201 Piedmont Avenue Southeast, and it happened when a contractor accidentally hit a gas line while digging in that area, according to Gaslight officials. So obviously, crews are on scene working to make sure that, working to repair the issue, but also make sure that everyone is safe. So again, Piedmont Avenue is currently closed near MLK Jr. Drive as emergency officials investigate and they take air quality readings and they work to resolve this and make sure that the area is safe before you even go into that area. So stay with Atlanta News First, Atlanta News First Plus for all the latest updates on that. And if you haven't done so yet, I really encourage you to download our free app where you can get updates sent right to your phone. Okay, let's talk about the other major news that we are following and that the nation is following this morning. And that is that we have a new president-elect, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, returning now to the White House. And the Republican Party here in Georgia is crediting early voting with what is a victory for them. Mr. Trump elected the 47th president of the United States and declared victory at his watch party, which is what you're looking at video of, at his watch party in Florida overnight. Mr. Trump is now the second person in U.S. history to win 2 non-consecutive terms as commander-in-chief. So that's certainly something unusual, extraordinary. Obviously, he is facing criminal prosecution here in Fulton County, Georgia, and elsewhere. And he, remember, was convicted in New York in the hush money trial, if you will, earlier this year, and has been found liable in multiple civil lawsuits as well. So, there's a lot to unpack here, and I want to let you know that we're going to delve into that. Now, at the moment, we have still not, the public still has not heard from Vice President Kamala Harris. She has not conceded yet, but her supporters flooded out of her watch party at Howard University in Washington, D.C. That is the video that you are looking at right now. But regarding Mr. Trump, who is now the Republican, not just was the Republican presidential nominee, but is now elected the 47th president of the United States. So he's now the president-elect. Remember, he narrowly lost Georgia in 2020. He has won this time by some 120,000 votes here in Georgia. Again, Mr. Trump has received 277 electoral votes as of right now. Vice President Kamala Harris has received 224. Atlanta News First Don Shipman is at the Fulton County Elections Hub and Operations Center with much more.
Here in Georgia, more specifically here in Fulton County. As we move throughout the day, at some point we will likely hear from officials here in Fulton County and state officials on what went right and what they can improve upon. We will also likely hear from the Georgia Republican Party. President-elect Trump defeated Vice President Kamala Harris by about 3 percentage points here in Georgia. In 2020, Trump lost to Joe Biden, who became the first Democrat to win Georgia or any other deep southern state since Bill Clinton in 1992. Overnight, we talked with Trump supporters at the official Republican watch party in downtown Atlanta. They say that Trump's win here in Georgia and the U.S. is because Georgians believe our country has lost its way. The head of the Republican Party here in Georgia touting early voting among Republicans.
What we wanted to do is get as many of our votes banked, so the last 4 days, we've still been hustling, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot easier when you've got millions of votes that have already been cast that you don't have to chase, and you've just got a smaller universe to get in on Election Day.
And almost 4 million people voted early here in Georgia. In all, some 5 million. We're in Fulton County. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
And you know, at the U.S. Capitol, police say that a man is in custody after he had a flare gun, a torch, and containers that smelled like gas in his possession. So, thankfully, no one was hurt in all this. The person was arrested on Tuesday at the Capitol Visitor Center. Police stopped the man as he tried to go through screening. A law enforcement source said that police do not believe the arrest was related to the election, but authorities are still investigating. We're going to keep you up to date with the latest on that. Okay, let's talk about how the voting process went here in Georgia. And voting was actually disrupted in our state after multiple precincts got bomb threats that actually forced them to temporarily evacuate. The FBI says that they were non-credible threats that actually originated from Russia, but obviously it did raise some concerns for a period of time. Atlanta News First reporter Sarah Hammond reports from the state capitol with an update on which counties were affected.
We know there were a number of threats made in Fulton, Gwinnett, and DeKalb counties at different polling locations, forcing them to close briefly while law enforcement investigated. And the FBI has since put out a statement saying they are aware of the threats but deemed them not to be credible. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says the bomb threats originated from Russia. Fulton County Police Chief Wade Yates says threats were made to 5 different polling locations in Fulton County. 2 polling locations in Gwinnett were forced to briefly close, and 5 in DeKalb County after someone made threats there. All of them were allowed to remain open a little later after the polls closed at 7 to make sure everybody who was impacted who wanted to vote was able to do so. It's also worth noting here that these bomb threats sent through Russian email domains mainly targeted Democratic-leaning counties and precincts.
We planned heavily for the incident of a bomb threat being called in. And it's a good thing we did, because that's the only thing that happened today was 32 bomb threats at different polling locations.
And we'll hear from Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger a little later this morning at the state capitol, where he will likely address a little bit more on how these bomb threats really impacted Election Day. From the state capitol, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
All right, and thanks so much to Sarah for that report. You know, here in Georgia, there were other big elections that took place as well, and Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will remain as Fulton County District Attorney. She has won her bid for re-election. She beat Republican challenger Courtney Kramer, who obviously was intending to challenge her, and interned with the White House counsel's office during Donald Trump's presidency, is also active in GOP organizations. Of course, Miss Willis has made national headlines when she brought charges against Mr. Trump for alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. And that is a case that is ongoing. We're going to talk a lot more about that. I have attorney Josh Schiffer joining me at 1 p.m. where we're going to unpack all of this, the fact that both Mr. Trump and Miss Willis have been reelected. What is this going to do to that Fulton County, Georgia election interference case and the other open cases against the former president? So we're going to talk about all of that coming up at 1 p.m. But also want to let you know about some of the other races locally that you can check out on atlantanewsfirst.com or by downloading our free mobile news app. And you can see some of the headlines here in Cobb County. Voters pick their sheriff. Incumbent Craig Owens Sr. reelected over David Cavender. Just this year, the Cobb County Sheriff's Office won an award from the National Sheriff's Association, and it was the only sheriff's office in the country to receive that award in 2024. And you can see a little bit further down on the screen in Gwinnett County, Sheriff Kibo Taylor was reelected over Mike Baker, and this will be Taylor's 4th year serving as the Gwinnett County Sheriff. Again, all of that on atlantanewsfirst.com or our free mobile news app. For right now, let's turn now to a look at the forecast with First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. And, you know, it just doesn't feel to me like it's November.
Oh my gosh. Right. I mean, I'm not complaining because personally I love the warmer weather.
Me too.
But yeah, definitely this time of year we should be wearing at least a light jacket in the morning and maybe even into the afternoon. Our average high temperature this time of year is in the mid 60s. So yeah, we're a little bit above that for sure. Definitely not feeling like November. but that time will come. So enjoy it while it lasts, right? Because when the cold comes, it's going to be probably here to stay, and we'll all be wishing for the warmer weather again, right? So let's talk about it. We do have a first alert weather day today, not because of the heat or anything like that. We're not nearing records or anything, but because of the rain. We did have some morning fog this morning. Some of that's still holding on. It's looking really cloudy and just kind of nasty outside. It's feeling damp out there, and the rain will increase through the afternoon, especially for those of you south and east of Atlanta. That's where the highest threat for rain is today. You'll pick up the most measurable rainfall, maybe could also experience some isolated flash flooding between today and tomorrow. So we'll talk about all of that coming up here in the next couple of minutes. Let's start with First Alert Futurecast, taking you kind of hour by hour through the day. So this morning, relatively dry. We do have a few showers starting to work their way in from the southwest, and that's how everything's going to kind of usher in today from south to north. But again, there's going to be a clear threshold of kind of where the most heavy rain will set up today. Taking you forward into 3 o'clock, here you can see scattered showers starting to fire up across Metro, but mostly South Metro from places like Newton County, Walton County, Morgan County, Greene County into Butts County and Spalding County down to Jasper and Putnam County. Temperatures today will be warmer than where we should be. We'll head into the low to mid 70s, mostly cloudy skies. Now, if you live from Atlanta off to the north, you're not going to stay completely dry today, but you will at least experience maybe a quick passing isolated shower. But the heaviest, most widespread rain will be south and east of the city today. The threshold is kind of I-85. If you took I-85 and brought it completely through the state, that's, you go east of that, or southeast of that, I should say, that's where most of the rain will set up, taking you into 6 o'clock tonight. So for that evening commute, a few showers possible within the city of Atlanta, but that heavy rain expected from Athens to Covington down to Eatonton. So just a heads up, again, if you live in East Georgia, the commute home tonight will be a wet one, some heavier downpours possible that could lead to some ponding in the roadways. So just take it easy on the commute home tonight, as that first alert weather day for you really goes into effect after 2 o'clock when that rain really starts to usher in and set up and settle in for the evening. Taking you into tomorrow morning, a few light scattered showers are possible. We'll wake up in the mid 60s. It'll be very, very mild for this time of year, if not warm for this time of year. And as we head into the afternoon, we will start to see a little more sunshine tomorrow. We have a few things kind of working together today. We have a wedge that's starting to erode that's been giving us those kind of dreary days the last couple of days, especially on Monday. So that's going to continue to erode. We also have a cold front that's approaching, some moisture getting pumped in from an area of high pressure off the coast, Raphael down to our south. Clearly, there's a lot going on in our forecast right now influencing us here in Georgia, but at least one piece of that puzzle will really start to go away tomorrow, and that's going to be that wedge that will allow for a little more sunshine and ultimately some warmer weather tomorrow with temperatures in the mid 70s for your Thursday. Here's a look at the flash flood threat. So this kind of gives you a better picture of who's expected to experience the heaviest rain and the most constant rain today. Highest threat for flash flooding down in central Georgia, from Perry to Dublin all the way into Augusta, but some of our southern counties like Jasper and Putnam County into Butts and Morgan County, Greene County, also Lamar, Spalding County, Upson County. That's where the highest threat for flash flooding is today. It's still a lower end threat, but definitely that's where we're going to keep our focus for maybe an isolated flash flood warning. The greatest threat for flash flooding outside of our viewing area. Overall, through Thursday, tomorrow, we're expected to pick up maybe about a half an inch to 2 inches of rain in some of our southern counties. So much needed rain. Wish we could bring some more of that into the city of Atlanta, but within the city limits, we're looking at maybe a half an inch to an inch of rain at best if we're lucky. Again, south and east of the city, that's where we could pick up 2 inches of rain. Look at that pink color there. That's 6+ inches of rain expected from places like Sandersville to Augusta. So that's where the flash flooding threat is, of course, the highest. Here's a look at high temperatures today, low to mid 70s. We are supposed to be in the upper 60s. And again, as I mentioned overnight tonight, we're heading into the mid 60s. So no need for a jacket heading out, but you'll want to bring maybe just a raincoat, something to keep you insulated tomorrow, because we will have the chance for at least a few scattered showers for the morning. Otherwise, a mostly cloudy day. Further north you go, I do think we'll start to see a little more sunshine tomorrow. Highs in the low to mid 70s. Chance for rain doesn't completely go away, but it will go down heading into the next several days. The weekend will start mostly dry and will increase rain chances Sunday. So we actually will have a chance for some rain just about every day, at least a small chance for rain. So we'll stay unsettled, which is fine because, again, we need the rain. So we'll take anything we can get after a very, very dry October. We also have Hurricane Rafael. I want to touch on that very quickly. Now a Category 2 hurricane as of the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Very close to making a landfall on the western edge of Cuba, so it will continue to bring heavy tropical rain to the island of Cuba there, and it will make its way into the Gulf in the coming days here as we head into tomorrow morning, maintaining that Category 2 status as of, again, the latest advisory, expected to become a major hurricane going into this evening. While it is moving over the western edge of Cuba, it'll go into the Gulf and weaken. It's going to run into a front that's going to create some wind shear, which will ultimately tear it apart. And notice it's going to continue to settle over the Gulf, not really expected to make a landfall. We'll have a cold front that'll kind of keep it offshore and tear it apart to weaken it as it continues to linger over the Gulf. So we're not expecting a second landfall as of right now. Still going to expect some heavy rain, some tropical rain along the Gulf Coast from Texas to Louisiana. And as this storm kind of settles over the Gulf, what it's going to do as it sits there for several days, what that'll do is upwell some cooler water. So hopefully that will cool the ocean water off, at least the surface water of the Gulf of Mexico off, which would be wonderful because then that will at least limit the potential for stronger hurricanes to continue to develop as we round out hurricane season in the coming weeks here. So this will help cool the Gulf waters off a little bit and the Caribbean waters off a little bit, which will really help with the future of hurricane season for us going forward in the next several weeks. So our first alert 7-day forecast, that's going to show you that we'll have mid-70s if it'll pop up. If not, just know we'll stay unsettled and warm with temperatures in the low to mid-70s every day, and we will keep a chance for rain just about every day through the weekend and into the start of next week. All right, everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you make it a wonderful day and that you stay dry and can find some joy even though the weather is going to be a little on the gloomy side, and we'll catch you here next time.